Retsu Unohana, formerly known as Yakiru Unohana, is the captain of the 4th Division in the Godai 13. She is one of the oldest and most experienced captains, and was the Soul Society's best healer, as well as the first person to wield the name Kenpachi. Kenpachi, a title given to the strongest Shinigami. There are several contenders for the title of strongest Shinigami, including Yamamuru, Aizen, Ichibei, and Ichigo, but Unohana, the first Kenpachi, is undoubtedly the strongest captain that led 2 divisions, the 4th and the 11th. There are 3 different ways to become a Godai 13 captain: captain proficiency test, personal recommendation, trial by combat. Unohana is the only captain to have fulfilled all 3 requirements. She has a powerful Bonkai. She was recommended by Yamamuru himself and has killed a captain in a trial combat, having killed Kenpachi Zaraki 1,000,000 times over. On top of this, she is easily the captain with the most abilities, rivaling Aizen, Mayurai Kurosuchi, and Kisuke Urahara. A lot of power scalers tend to not favor her being in the top 10 most powerful beings in Bleach due to a lack of shown feats, but she undoubtedly deserves a place in the rankings right next to Yamamuru and Ichibi, since canonically she's the most powerful Kenpachi and stronger than Shunsui. Some people use her earlier statement saying she's as strong as half PRE Transcendent Ichigo to determine how powerful she is, when they don't take into account what she implied by that statement. Taking everything into account, she clearly meant to say that. Her base is equal to Ichigo's Bonkai and other high captains' Bonkai spiritual pressure. Once you take this into account, then you'll start to realize and acknowledge that she's the most powerful captain in the Godai 13, as even in her base, she's equal to Ichigo, who could sense a transcendent Aizen. Her powers and abilities include superhuman physical characteristics, soul physiology and Shinigami physiology soul, high-tier Shinigami, high-tier, master swordswoman, blood manipulation and corrosion inducement. Corrosion inducement as in Unohana's Bankai creates a fountain of blood from its blade. This blood has shown the ability to melt away the skin, muscles and tendons of someone, leaving only bones and eyeballs behind, healing and energy projection. Unohana is proficient in Kaido. This technique can heal near-fatal wounds and restore lost Riryoku at the cost of users' own reserves. Limited power nullification Riryoku can null the abilities and techniques of those massively weaker than Unohana.
We were just talking about how it's such a nice day outside that it's scary, that's all, right?
Yeah.
Her attack potency and durability is at the very least large country level plus, which is at a transcendent level of power, since Aizen and Ichigo in their transcendent states were proud of achieving similar levels of country to continental feats. Her intelligence puts her next to Aizen, Mayurai, and Kisuke. She is able to detect the smallest details in her patients. This aids her in her healing. She can detect anomalies and problems lesser healers would not. She can tell by a simple look what type of medical attention, if any, is needed. Her powers of perception were great to deduce that Aizen's elaborate illusion of a corpse doll wasn't real, and that Aizen was perpetuating a much larger scheme.
True.
The only notable weakness one can note on her is that she's not effectively immortal like Aizen, Yuha and Soul King, but that's applicable to almost everyone else in the series. Plus, she has healing powers that can heal near-fatal wounds, so that's not much of an anti-feat. She's exceptional in all aspects, being one of the most well-rounded Shinigami. The only ability she currently lacks is notable combat speed feats, which makes her rank as low as a captain in that aspect as Zaraki, seeing as she's roughly as fast as Kenpachi Zaraki, who can keep up with Byakuya.
I'm strong, stronger than anyone but you. That is why I must take your life this day, 100 times, or even 1,000. That is why I must bring you healing, no matter how many times it takes, until you are restored to your true self, until finally you can surpass me and move on to far great.
Some people misunderstand this statement to mean she's weaker than Zaraki, when it's similar to Ulquiorra during the start of the arc, noticing that Akigo had a higher potential of being stronger, but at the time Akigo was evidently weaker. Unohana was Kenpachi during the strongest generation of the Godai 13, but unlike the second Kenpachi, she trained herself to become even stronger and well-rounded as a fighter over the same period of time, so that view cannot be used as an anti-feat against her. She was all capable of healing herself from all the wounds both Zaraki and herself incurred during the fight. The reason she gave up at the point in the fight against Zaraki was due to her wanting to observe the rules dictating the survival of only one Kenpachi per era. This doesn't impact her standing as the strongest captain. Her healing ability, which is something she just learned like everyone else can, is to such a degree that it's comparable to absurd hacks abilities and power-ups like the Visionary, the H-Joku, the Miracle, Soden Kishan that can reverse time, and Kanenbaraki Benihai Maritame that can remake reality. In fact, with all her hacks and abilities, she is to be accepted to be the strongest captain of the Godai 13, having only ever received her first scar from the second Kenpachi who's achieved transcendence. So after all this, do you really still need more information to believe that the first Kenpachi is the strongest captain of the Godai 13? Do consider subscribing if you want to see more Bleach content, and thank you for watching till the end.